Bienvenidos, chicos. Hoy tienen los apuntes del futuro en español. Vamos a ver las conjugaciones y cómo usarlo. Primero, el futuro próximo. So, this is a form of the future that you have seen in Spanish 1, you've seen hopefully last year, and this is where you use the verb ir in the present tense plus a plus the infinitivo, and it just means that I'm going to do something. So you have these examples of actions that the people are going to do. And this is a way to talk about the future of something that's pretty immediate and of something that you're certain will happen. So if you say, I'm going to go to the bathroom, you're basically on your way out of the class, going down the hall to go do that. Or if you say, tonight I'm going to call you, then I can count on that action happening. If you're going to do it, you're very certain about it. So this is one way to talk about actions that are going to happen in a time later than the present, but let's also look at the future in another way. El futuro simple. So in English, we use the modal verb, the helper, will, and we say like, I will dance or she will study. And we're going to see how to do that in Spanish. It's very simple. For 90% of verbs, you take the infinitive. You don't have to remove any letters, but you just attach the future ending. So it's one conjugation or one form of verbs in Spanish where you're not removing any letters, you're only adding. So it makes it a little bit more straightforward because you don't have to remember boot verbs. There's nothing about the yo form and letters changing. It is very clean and simple tense. Ok, aquí ustedes tienen los ejemplos. Infinitivos, AR, ER, and IR, regular verbs. These 6 endings that you see are the endings that any verb in the future will use. Doesn't matter if it's AR, ER, or IR. They all use these endings. And you can see they have accent marks on most of the endings except for the nosotros form. And on the right-hand side, some examples of how the conjugations look. Yo estudiaré. All we did was attach the yo future ending to the infinitive estudiar, and now that means I will study. And again, accent marks are important for these forms because they can be confused with other tenses that we might learn later. Okay, los irregulares. Like in every form, every tense that we've seen this year, there are always some verbs that are irregular. Fortunately, it tends to be the same verbs that are irregular in the present, irregular in the preterite, that are irregular in the future. And the only thing that's irregular is the stem. So take a look at the verbs on the left-hand column. And you can see that for most of them, instead of keeping the ER or IR ending, we've just kind of taken out that vowel there. So caber is CABR. Aber, HABR, right? Poder, PODR. Now there's a couple like decir and poner where we've removed more letters or we've added an extra letter. So if you just keep these in mind, these are the ones that are going to be irregular, but they have the same set of endings. E with an accent, as, a, both with accents, the same as the regular verbs do. So it's just about memorizing the different stems for these verbs. Okay, los usos del futuro simple. Predicciones. I will get married in the future. This prediction is something that you're fairly certain, or you hope, or you think, or it might be true, but at this point in time, you can't know for sure. So it's a prediction of what will happen. Intentions. Acabaremos, we will finish, el proyecto. So tomorrow we will finish the project. It's something that we're hoping is going to happen. We think that it will happen, but in the end, there could be something that prevents us from finishing the project. But at least the intention is to go meet up tomorrow and to finish this project. And supposition. So What this means is that if you are talking about maybe some other people, in this case, los chicos estarán a la playa, this translates into the boys might be or probably are at the beach. So maybe you're having a conversation with a friend and they ask, oh, where are the boys? And it's a nice day over the summer. You could say, oh, they might be at the beach, or they're probably at the beach. You can use the future if you want to say to somebody, oh, you must be tired, or oh, the children must be hungry. Anytime you're kind of making a statement that's a bit of a guess, you can use the future form in Spanish, and that's one of the correct usages for the future tense. For actions that are certain, en español se usa el presente. So a lot of times, as English speakers, we over-translate into the future, but in Spanish, they would actually just say the sentence in the present. So let's take a look at a couple examples. Te veo mañana en la escuela. I'll see you tomorrow at school or in school. Since it's something that's certain every day that you see each other, you just keep it in the present tense. While it's true that maybe you won't show up to school tomorrow for a number of reasons, you get sick overnight, anything, we are 90% of the time certain that we'll see each other because it's something that happens generally every day. In the second example, my parents are visiting. In English, we're using the progressive, the ing form, but in Spanish, we're just using the regular present tense to say that they are coming to visit. They've booked their tickets, they have their plans, they will be here. Or the final example sentence saying that I'll give it to you this afternoon. A lot of times you can also use the ir plus a plus infinitive form, but it's also correct and even more preferred to use the present. Oh, okay, I give it to you later, because you know for certain that you intend to give whatever it is to the person you're talking to. Ok, chicos, pues gracias por escuchar los apuntes. Si tienen más preguntas, por favor, díganme y adiós.